Raiding the Kingdom, episode 140, new year, same story. And it is the same story. The Raiders are out of the playoffs. The Chiefs are in. We're heading into week 18. Coach, how are we doing?
We're doing good, man. We're doing good. Interesting game against the Bengals, but that makes 8 straight division titles. That's tied for second most all time. And this is our 9th straight 10-win season, right? So that's another thing that we're second to, I would assume, probably the Patriots. So, yeah, like I said, a win's a win. You got to feel good about it. Thank God for Harrison Butker and all his field goals and whatnot. We're going to get into that in a minute. But, I'll say this, being division champs, it doesn't feel like the past couple ones where we were just extremely dominant and kind of got into this one with, the Chargers not being really great. We obviously split with you guys and with the Broncos too. But you can tell that the West in the future is going to be more of a battle than we've been dealing with in the past. So, I mean, granted, the Chargers have been good in the past too, but I'm just saying in general, I feel like all these teams will get better in the offseason and whatnot. So we got to get to 9, to get to 10. It'll be a challenge for sure.
And though I recall you and I kind of freaking out when the Broncos signed Russell Wilson, and we expected they would be a lot better, and they never really did get better, even with him. And then Sean Payton, and now like his time in Denver is over. So whenever we think a team's getting better, things change.
Yeah, and the Russell Wilson thing, I'll say this. Russell Wilson's kind of like an annoying dude because he's just so positive. That's kind of sad that we think it's annoying because of that.
I think they said annoyingly optimistic was
annoyingly optimistic, right?
Pretty good.
And but he really didn't have a bad statistical season at all. I think he could go somewhere next year and be good. Like I think I said on the last podcast. Who knows where we got we're both itching at the bit, bitten at the itch.
Chomping at the bit.
Chomping at the bit. Chomping at the bit.
Itching at the bit.
Itching at the bit. It's my new one. You can copyright that to Coach.
Yeah,
but we had a lot of fun off-season stuff to look forward to. But we got to concentrate on what just happened last week to both of our teams.
Right. And I mean, there's still a lot more to cover, especially with you guys. Mainly, we're on the off-season now. We still have a game coming up this week, final one of the season. I can't believe how quick the season has gone by. It's really sad, but we'll, there's still playoffs, still Super Bowl things to look forward to. And that's what's nice about the NFL is it's really like a year-round carousel of hope and then eventual despair if you're a Raiders fan. By the way, if anyone likes the Sin City Slaughter t-shirt, the score at the bottom there, that's from our boy at DC4L Custom Tees. He does the best work. It's amazing when you search for this tee, how many of those bot t-shirt companies stole his design. It's amazing. So make sure if you want the Sin City Slaughter t-shirt, it's on DC4L Custom Tees. They'll hook you up with any design you want. So let's just do Raiders Colts quick because it's really my last or second to last game breakdown. We'll see how next week goes. The Raiders beat the Colts last year, 23-20. Lost to them this year, 23-20. Colts go to 9-7. No, 9-6. Whatever. Raiders go to 7-9. We are effectively eliminated from the playoffs. It doesn't matter what happens from here on out. The only thing that changes is draft position. I believe if we lose and a couple other teams lose that are ahead of us, the highest possible draft spot we could have is 8, which is one less than we had last year. Tyree Wilson at 7, which Coach and I were there for. So I will still always root for a win. We face the Broncos division rival. I'll go into that later.
What's the difference? If you guys win, what's the pick you get?
11 is I believe it still depends on what teams, because if we have a few surprise teams win this week, it could fluctuate. So really anywhere between 8 and 11 or 8 and 12, but 8 is the peak from what I've seen. But trading up from 8 is not impossible, and we'll go through the draft selections later on. I think there actually is a real, people say X, Y, and Z are out of reach for us. We'll get there. We'll get there when we cross it. Kind of with the Colts game, I could tell from the beginning we weren't moving the ball well. Defense, once again, was playing lights out. They really haven't given up too many points to anyone in the last 6 weeks. So 23 from the Colts isn't great. I could just tell from the beginning we were struggling. we were giving up some chunk plays on some of that play action. A lot of penalties. Jermaine Illuminor, left tackle, really wasn't doing great. He gets replaced by Colton Miller, who's injured, and Colton immediately starts playing better. There, a lot of, I'm not going to blame the whole thing on the refs, but at least 2 big-time PIs on Davante Adams were not called. Just a week of weird roughing, you can ask a week of weird reffing, you can ask the Lions about that. But so a lot of missed PIs. And then really at the end, we only scored 3 points in the first half. We needed them to come alive. And Davante Adams had 2 touchdowns in the second half, too little, too late. He still ended the night with 13 receptions, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have 21 targets. So that's 8 balls that either he dropped, were misthrown, or just good defense. So that's something to think about. It really wasn't evenly spread around. Aiden O'Connell was 30 for 47 for 299 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not bad, not great. The defense only sacked Gardner Minshew once. Minshew himself went 15 for 23, 224 yards and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, as predicted, was kind of the workhorse of the game. He had 21 carries for 96 yards and a touchdown. We said they weren't going to air it out. I didn't expect more than about 25 passing attempts, and they had 23, so we weren't far off on that. They didn't really look frazzled during the game. Obviously, it came down to that close. They had that missed field goal, and then they called Jack Jones offsides, kick it again, and then they hit it. He was not offsides after replaying the tape, but sometimes that's just the nature of the beast. So Raiders go home empty-handed. We have a home game against the Broncos, which we'll go into in our predictions. It would have been nice for a win. I'm still riding on the Antonio Pierce train. Coach, I don't think you probably didn't watch the game. So the Chiefs game was on at the same time.
Yeah, I didn't watch the game.
So I don't know if you had any. I mean, I think you went with my boys for the predictions.
Yeah, I went with your boys for prediction. I think the thing about, I think both teams. Well, actually, no, not necessarily both teams, but the Colts really just don't do anything very good. They're just very average in just about every aspect of the game. But Gardner Minshew's come in and has led that team to a potential playoff spot. Jonathan Taylor, they got some weapons there. Raiders, that's like we talked about, dude. It's a couple of these, the reffing and what's been going on in the NFL this year, I think is a wake-up call to the fact that, like the NBA, like the MLB, I'm not sure with hockey, but these guys are like year-round paid employees, right? The NFL makes enough money where you can pay these refs easily a 6-figure salary, where it's going to be very conducive to having a decent lifestyle because they are important, and that would be what they would concentrate on. In the off season, they're studying on what they need to do to continually improve, because these refs, this is like a second job for them. This isn't their main thing, so they're not as focused. And I think with a lot of the plays that have happened this year, especially with the Cowboys-Lions game, which was the same crew that was for the Packers and the Chiefs, where there were some calls that were not made that probably should have been. So we can't go back on that, but I think if we had refs that were permanent, full-time employees in the NFL, which we know the NFL makes more money than anything, that would be a good idea. So it's unfortunate, for you guys, for those, offsides, the clear pass interference calls, they're not getting called, that those have, somewhat of a significant outcome on the game, and could prove, if you guys win that, you guys are still in the playoff race. So this next week is even that much more important. The Chiefs are, we're starting Patrick Mahomes, right? We're not starting Blake Gabbert. So it makes a big difference. There's no guarantee that you guys would have won, but again, but if we're going back, this is a long-winded, me being off topic like a squirrel, but I think Antonio Pierce is your guy. I think the guys in the locker room are behind him. And
Davante Adams just said today that's who he wants, and I guess he's speaking for the locker room.
Speaking for the locker room, so I hope Davis listens, because I know they didn't really listen with Rich Bisaccia.
Nope.
Harbaugh's going to be out there. There's going to be some good names, but sometimes, the fit is the guy who's there, and you get yourself a good offensive coordinator, keep Patrick Graham, get yourself a quarterback.
Got to keep Patrick Graham. That's almost more important than AP, I think.
Yeah,
Uh,
and keeping him in Las Vegas because I think he will get some potential coaching jobs. But again, we also know now the NFL is so offensive based that these D coordinators getting head coaching jobs, I think, will be far and few between.
yeah, it's going to be a rarity.
So Spagnuolo ain't
I think
going anywhere.
no, and actually a good way to segment out. Did you say that Pat Mahomes is starting?
Is not starting.
Right. Is okay. I was like, wait a minute.
Not
I'm
starting.
pretty sure. So I just pulled it up right now.
what I was saying is that if you guys win that game, he's starting this week, I would think, because the AFC West would be officially locked up.
Would be open. Yeah, and no, it's good. And the starting QBs in Week 18 are interesting to say the least. We're gonna have to monitor some of these when we do our Week 18 predictions.
Yeah, Blaine Gabbert, Tyrod Taylor, Tyler Huntley. Yeah, there's going to be
Jeff Driscoll, Nick Mullins, Jared Stidham,
Easton Stick, Jared Stidham. So
it's quite a carousel.
If you got tickets to Week 18, promo code RTK off SeatGeek, you're going to see some. You're going to see some interesting.
It'll go from $40 to $20. Yeah.
Yes, you actually get the ticket for free with your promo code. Just pay the taxes.
Yeah, there you go. So let's get into the Chiefs game. You guys locked up a win against the Bengals. We both picked you guys to win.
Yep.
So
yes.
So,
we coming out 25-17. In the beginning, I liked how the offense was moving. Great play. Isaiah Pacheco was, running like he was mad at somebody like he does all the time.
Those knees come up pretty high.
Yeah, he's a beast, man. He really is. He's offensively, we've been so stagnant that you could tell how much of a difference he makes on this offense when he's playing, because these last couple of weeks he's been out, and obviously we've lost and we've looked like absolute dog shit. And he's came in and provided a little bit of a spark and got us our lone touchdown of the game. It was a Harrison Butker fest. He was kicking field goals for Jesus the entire time, so we appreciate that. And we got a 25-17 win. The defense stepped up big, 6 sacks, 14 QB hits. L'Jarius Sneed shut down Jamar Chase, tried to fight. He was talking crap, saying that Sneed didn't want to fight him, blah, blah, blah. I don't think Sneed wanted to get kicked out of the game or potentially be suspended for the next game or playoff, whatever. Just
smart play.
Jamar Chase can be a little bit of a punk. But, he locked him down. Chase had 3 receptions, 41 yards. Sneed has been incredible this year. Incredible. I won't go into the offseason stuff yet, but he is a free agent, so he's an important piece of the Chiefs' future. And, George Karlaftis, rookie, sack and a half of himself. He's over 10 sacks for the season. Justin Reed had a couple sacks. We got the Browning. We got the win, man. We got the win. Cincinnati's our biggest rival outside of the AFC West. And obviously the Raiders. Right now, he's played them 5 times in the last 2 years. We've obviously got the majority of the wins there, but it's 3-2 now. It's 3-2. So we're leading the series, but Cincinnati played good despite not having Joe Burrow. And they made it interesting at the end, but the defense came through once again, the pressure, getting to the quarterback, and helped us seal up another division title, which is appreciated. Like I said, this year doesn't necessarily feel like past years, but an AFC West championship is an AFC West championship. Division championship, you can't, in the scheme of things, when people look back in history, they're not going to necessarily think, oh, well, the Chiefs didn't really deserve it. We did what we had to do to win, and we got the win. We got the championship, and we're the 3 seed in the playoffs. So if we want to go back to the Super Bowl again, we need to win some road games, and first off, win our first home game. And we don't know who that is going to be yet, but we got to be ready. We got to be ready.
And I mean, I could see it almost AFC West taking the division more of a it's more of a formality at this point for you guys in the last however many, what do we say, 8 years?
8 years, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not gonna, I don't think it's gonna excite you guys as much anyways as maybe it did that first time after a bit of a drought. So like if the Raiders or the Chargers won the AFC West, it would be a big deal because it hasn't happened so often. But it probably does feel a little more weird too because it wasn't a dominant divisional, it wasn't a dominant taking the
Yeah,
conference.
it was it was the first time that
It was very
Patrick
close.
Mahomes had multiple losses against an AFC West teams in the same year. So
Right.
that was
You guys only sweep the Chargers? Is that it?
well, we haven't played. We beat the Chargers once. The Chargers are the only team.
Oh, and then you guys played them this Sunday. Yep. All right, and let's do, before I forget, Coach, we'll do your play of the day because it was actually something noteworthy to go over again.
Kept them alive with a 4th and 18. Here's a 2nd and 16, and it only gets worse.
They got to get up quickly or use their timeout now. I would take the timeout.
Chris Jones untouched up the middle.
Untouched up the middle.
I don't know whose blocking assignment that was. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he got through the middle of the that O line and got to the quarterback and had a crucial sack. That could be potentially Chris Jones's last regular season sack here at Arrowhead. So I know he's probably feeling that. Who knows? Hopefully he gets a couple in the playoff game. But kind of a good send off if he is gone. He's been invaluable the last couple games. He's an absolute game changer. Stone Cold Chris Jones is absolutely loved in Kansas City. Money's money, so we don't know if he can necessarily come back because the man wants to get paid. But he has been so integral to our team the last couple of years, and I'm thankful to be able to
fly, Chris Jones. Go to the NFC. Just get out.
Yeah,
get out of here. I'm not going to play my clip of the day because I don't think we earned it. But for all those out there, you can see it on our Facebook and our Twitter. It was the clip of Max Crosby calling Gardner Minshew a little ass boy over and over and over again, which I think is hilarious. Not really a play because we only had one sack that game. But check it out. The clip is hilarious. But that's where we're at. So Chiefs are heading into the playoffs. After week 18, we'll get your matchup. We'll get into that. I think we'll be able to get a guest to come on here and chat that up with us. And I'll just have to bite my tongue about off-season stuff. I waited about an hour after the game ended to pitch Hayden Daniels to the masses.
We've had JT the legend, JT the Brick on a couple of times. We've had plenty of Raider people on. We haven't had any Chiefs people on, so it's my turn.
Right, that's fair. You're due, and this is one of our favorites.
It's not all about you, okay? Not all.
I know. Hey, I'm. Besides the.
Why don't you tell everybody what you're getting from me?
What are you talking about? Oh, what I'm getting from you?
Mm-hmm.
For our competition?
Yeah, what are you getting?
Oh, so obviously Coach has conceded to my victory in our Pick'em Heads Up contest. I have a number 18 Jack Jones jersey. I hope, unless you change the order at the last minute, on the way to me. Jack Jones severely impressed me end of the season. Hopefully they keep him because the jersey's coming regardless. But he's on a rookie deal. He's on a second season. So Jack Jones, number 18, will be joining my legendary Hall of Raiders jerseys, 2/3 of which are no longer Raiders. It's a lengthy list. I got to make a video of that someday. It's pretty depressing to look at. But actually, while we're on the subject of pick'ems, we tied last week, 9 for 9. So I lead the series 164 to 141. You and I are both still doing very well. Even if take away it being against each other, it's still pretty solid.
It's not bad.
Yeah, we tied last year, right?
We had a dead ass tie last year. Yeah.
A dead tie. That was insane. Okay. Well, week 18 is weird, and I saw someone say, like, what's the point of even having this week? Because they're, literally half the starters are either sitting or out. But the comment doesn't make sense because if we didn't have week 18, we go back to the 17. What was week 17 2 years ago? All the starters sat. Same thing. So nothing is going to change in that regard. It's just a strategy. It's smart play. It's what has to happen. Is Lamar Jackson playing?
No.
Okay.
Tyler Huntley's playing. He started.
Oh, I still like that, though. All right. Let's kick it off. Week 18, our final regular season predictions.
Great. I cannot believe we're in week 18, dude. It seems
so
like
depressing. I know
week one, we were going in with so much. We're playing the Lions, biting kneecaps. I don't know if we're going to win this game. We didn't, obviously. Now we are here, week 18. Happy New Year, by the way. And new year and new. It's the year of raiding the kingdom, buddy. That's what it is.
It is, and we've made some big time strides this year. So let's rock.
Let's keep it moving.
Saturday 4:30. We have no Thursday night game and we have no Monday night game. This sucks. Saturday, 4:30, Steelers at Ravens. I'm going Tyler Huntley and the boys in purple. They're still going to win. Coach?
I'm going to go Steelers. Steelers really want to win this.
Wow.
Mason Rudolph trying to somehow convince people that he can be a starting quarterback in the NFL. That's a lie, but I'm going to take the Steelers.
All right, let's kick it off that way. 8:15, Texans at Colts, fighting to get into the playoffs. Who are you taking?
I'm going to take a little CJ Stroud magic. Ryans has done an absolute fantastic job with that team. He's my coach of the year, but I don't think he ends up getting that. I think it's because there's a lot of very great coaches this year. But I think the job he's done has been incredible. So I'm going to take the Texans.
I'm going to take Texans as well. No differentiation there. CJ Stroud, what could have been. But yeah, he's doing fantastic. You were there to witness that downfall for me. Sunday, 1:00, Bucks at Panthers. Panthers, top to bottom, everything's wrong. Owner down to the rookie QB. I'm going to go Bucks. Baker Mayfield in the squad.
Oh yeah, 100% Bucks, man. To be a Carolina Panthers fan right now is got to be tough. It's got to be tough.
Yeah,
this dude's worth like $20 billion. I think he's the richest owner in the NFL.
They said that the $300,000 fine equivalent was the equivalent to finding just kind of like your average American, like $1.06 or something like that. Like that's how
it's a joke.
Yeah.
But
they're like, think about how many drinks he could have bought with that.
Yeah,
he doesn't care. Guy's just in over his head. All right, so we're both taking the Bucks. Browns at Bengals.
I mean the Browns are pretty much locked in. I don't know who they're going to start.
Is that Jeff Driscoll?
I think Jeff Driscoll's starting.
Yeah, I know Flacco's.
I'm just gonna take the Browns, man. I mean, there's so many games this week that are just complete toss-ups.
Right.
This obviously goes on our record, but it's like that we can see.
We can't. I'm not going to go into every roster and figure out who's sitting and who isn't.
Yeah, I'll take the
Browns.
Browns.
Right. I'm going to take Browns as well. Vikings at Lions. I'm just going to go Lions.
Yeah, Lions.
Regardless, even though the Lions or the Vikings had nothing to do with it, it's NFC North, and the Lions got absolutely screwed last week. So Dan Campbell is mad.
Not the guy I want to have mad. The interesting thing is that there's a very good chance that the Rams end up coming to Detroit. Very full circle moment. Matthew Stafford versus old team. Jared Goff.
That would be electric.
That'll be electric in Detroit at Ford Field.
Yeah. And is it not going to be at Ford Field now because they lost to the Cowboys?
Yeah, Ford Field because they won the division. But yeah, I mean it.
Because they said I heard someone saying that the refs have cost the city of Detroit like millions of dollars because they're not going to get to.
Well, because they're not going to have multiple playoff games, right? They could have had the number. Lions could have potentially had the number one seed.
Oh my gosh, what a crime!
I mean,
at least Detroit's going to get all the money from the draft. We will be there.
We'll be there. We'll be supporting them.
We will. Jets at. So we're both taking the Lions, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Both
Jets at Patriots. I'm going to go Patriots. They're going to fight to Bill go out in a, glorious victory over the Jets. Robert Saleh and them already know they still have their job, so they're good. Patriots. And everyone doesn't like Aaron Rodgers this week, I guess.
Well, the thing too about the Patriots though is like that draft position. So I'm not 1,000%. Yeah. So I'll take the Patriots, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets win it. Both teams really need to lose so they can improve their draft position, but I'll take the Patriots for shits and giggles.
Solid. Falcons at Saints for you.
Falcons at Saints. Hopefully it's the last game for Arthur Smith. They find themselves a quarterback. Maybe a Russell Wilson would be good there in the ATL, but I will take the Saints.
I'm taking the Saints as well. I just don't know what to say about that, but I also think Arthur Smith should get the back door. You can still win games, but the amount of misuse of skill position players is mind-boggling to me. And then the whole injury thing with Bijan Robinson really annoyed me. That's coming from a fantasy fan.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Our last 1 o'clock game, we have a ton of 4 o'clock games. Jags at Titans. I'm going to go with Mike Vrabel trying to play spoiler here and ruin the Jags season where they lost. So I'm going to take the Titans.
Well, I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna take the Titans as well. Is Trevor Lawrence playing? Do we know?
I think he's on the fence.
He's on the fence.
And this could be Derrick Henry's last game as a Titan. So I want to see fireworks.
The King Henry could go out on a winning note. I know he can kind of see the writing on the wall. But yeah, we'll go Titans.
Done deal. The first 4:25 game, Seahawks at Cardinals.
Seahawks at Cardinals. I'll go Seahawks.
I'm going to go Cardinals. Took it to the Eagles. Why not take it to the Seahawks? Coach takes Seahawks. Next, Chiefs at Chargers. Blaine Gabbert starting.
Ooh, I'm going to take the Chiefs in this game. I hope we can sweep at least one AFC West team. Chargers have been playing a little bit better. I think, I hope that they can use this game to get some of these wide receivers. Maybe Kadarius Toney will play. Maybe Justin Ross will play. And get these guys on some sort of a rhythm. I don't know if they're going to – I wouldn't play Pacheco. Yeah. I mean, you can't change your position at all. We already got 10 wins. I know they want to get Travis Kelce needs like 26 yards to get 1,000 yards to be his like 9th straight season of 1,000 yards or more. So I'll take the Chiefs in a close one. It might be another Butker Bowl.
I'm going to go Chiefs as well. I was kind of hoping that Chad Henne would just come out of nowhere and play the final game. Obviously not going to happen.
Oh my God, it's Chad Henne's meeting.
Yeah. It'd be great. I'm going to go Chiefs as well. I just think the Chargers just want this nightmare train to come to a final stop. Broncos at Raiders is next. I'm going to make this quick. Raiders got to take this. We have a 7-0 win streak against the Broncos. I hope there will just be a scenario where we win this game. We at least go into the offseason with a good feeling for Antonio Pierce to keep his position, for Devontae to want to stick around, for Patrick Graham to get to stay, all the above. And then we still get a decent draft position. But I cannot pick them to lose a game I think we deserve to win. And I don't want Jared Stidham to get a win over on us after he just betrayed us and went over to Denver.
I'll take the Raiders too. And I'll say this. When it comes to draft position, there's being the draft guy of this podcast, between 8 and 11 is a major difference, right? Because it's just the type of player you can get can obviously change.
Two different tiers. Yeah.
Guys are going to drop. Things are going to happen. My guess, in the way this draft might play out, you'd have to trade up from 8 anyways. So you might have to trade up. You will have to trade up from 11, depending on what quarterback you go with. All stuff we'll talk about here in the coming weeks. But most likely you're going to have to trade up regardless, depending on who you guys identify as your person. And I think if you identify somebody who's at the top of the draft, you guys are going to go all in. So it doesn't matter if you have the 11th pick, because your next year's first round pick is going to go to them too. So there's a lot of chaos that could happen. We'll talk about this later on, but I think you got to go out on a winning note, and it'll all work out the way it's supposed to.
Perfect. Yep. And we'll bring it up later, but I had a very brief conversation with ESPN draft analyst Field Yates, and he gave me some insight that I think is going to be pretty accurate and pretty telling for the future. So that'll be in one of our next episodes. Highlight of one of my Fridays, running into that guy in my hometown. So we're both taking the Raiders. Eagles at Giants. I'm going to go Eagles. They need to tune them up. They need to get this right. The defense is so bad, and it makes zero sense. What do you think, Coach?
I think they got old very quickly. You got a lot of young guys, but some of those young guys just are not as experienced as you'd like. But this
Howie Roseman's going to go to Georgia and ask for his money back.
Yeah, no shit. I will take the Eagles, but it wouldn't shock me if the Tyrod Taylor-led Giants end the season on the high note. What's better than beating the Eagles and completely just seeing the downward spiral continue? Because Philly's they're gonna stone Nick Sirianni's house.
One of my sons is signaling to me that he needs my attention, so we're going to rapid fire these last couple. We're both going Eagles. Coach, Rams at Niners.
Rams.
I'm taking Niners. Coach, Cowboys at Commanders. I'm going Cowboys. Cowboys. Final AFC East battle, Sunday night, 8:20. Bills at Dolphins.
Bills.
I'm going Bills as well. That is our show. And we're not going to do a long Jackson Mahomes Award of Excellence, but both of us are going to give it to David Tepper for throwing his drink on a Jaguars fan. That's his second Jackson Mahomes Award of Excellence. I think our first double winner, right?
He's our first double winner. We'll send him a gift card to DC 4L Customs.
There you go.
Says I like to throw drinks at people, even though.
Ooh, I bet he could come with a spicy design. That would be good.
Yeah. Shout out to our boy.
All
and
right,
again, one real quick, Underdog Fantasy. $100, deposit $100, you'll get $100 back. Just put the promo code RTK. Get another, at least here in Missouri, you can do another week of draft fantasy football. For most of you other people that live in states that are actually smart and have sports betting, go all in on your pick'ems, okay? But again, appreciate you guys sticking with us. Happy New Year. This is the last day. You can say Happy New Year to someone according to Larry David. So I'm saying it now. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Cheers.
Go Raiders. Just win, baby.